Buddy, we know how you started. You about ready to do this thing today?
Yep.
Getting that stretch out, getting it ready to go.
Let's do this.
All right, there, Rick. That is what we will do.
And now, it's about that time.
Pre-record on my count. 7, 6, 5, 4. Here we go, Roger.
And with the coach, Mickey Clayton on Insights. 2 eyes in the middle. INSiiGHTS. Where
Rick. Man, happy Thanksgiving to you, for you, about you, and all the other things that go on. We wish you the absolute best, man. How's it going for you, brother?
Happy Thanksgiving, Coach. Insights family, what is going on this holiday? Can't say weekend yet, but hey, let the weekend begin and let the show begin.
Let's say let the weekend begin. Let it start.
Yes. Let's go.
You know, the $1 million question was, what did Rick Brown have in that cup?
I'll give you 2 guesses, and the first one's wrong.
And the first one is wrong. I kind of figured you would say something like that. The first one might be wrong. Okay. Well, let me say this. First, you see, we got a different backdrop behind me today.
I see.
I am tucked away trying to find a quiet corner in the house because the whole family here. I got my daughters here. I got my grandsons here. They want to get in earlier and start eating. I'm like, y'all need to bring food with you. You've been here all week. Y'all need to bring some food with you now.
When we go home, we want some of that home cooking. Yes, sir. I feel you. I'm with the family there. I'm with you. And I'll be over there too. Hey, y'all save me a plate.
Hey, it won't even make no difference. 5 or 6 more won't even make a difference now. It won't even make a difference. I got my oldest daughter talking about, man, Daddy, you can't come home and not have some Bradley's sausage. So we got to get them some Bradley's sausage. You know, we don't do nothing but spoil them, Rick. You know how that goes.
Yep. That's what y'all are for. Thank you. Appreciate y'all.
That's what y'all are for, huh?
Oh, wait a minute. I got to think about that. That's what we're for. Oh, man. How did I get... adulting can be very hard. It's not all cracked up with what they say it is. This adulting thing, I mean, I liked it better when I was a kid.
Hey, you like, see, being an adult is overrated.
Overrated.
Hey, it took a long time. I'd ask mine. I said, well, y'all 19, 20, y'all grown now? No, Daddy, because as soon as we say that, you're not going to take care of the phone bill. You're not taking care of this. We're not trying to cut that off. You know, and with us today, we got a special guest, Mr. Charlie Ward. I see him backstage early. He's always welcome to come in. You know, we open our show up with him, Mr. Heisman Trophy winner.
Hey,
I want to ask him about the Heisman House since we see him all on commercials now.
That's what I'm talking about. For real.
Yeah. We need that Thomasville guy. We need him. Now in Tallahassee, we need him to talk about it being on the Heisman House. We don't have nobody else doing national TV commercials.
Nope.
You know, he's a star in his own right. Don't come much more humble than Charlie Ward is.
For real.
We're going to get to him. I'm not going to keep him back there as long since he's here a little bit early. We're going to get him in, but because anytime that we can get the legend in, then we feel great about getting him in.
Indeed, Coach.
You know, as we try to keep people abreast of what's going on, have you heard about a young man named DJ Wagner?
DJ Wagner.
Son of DeJuan Wagner.
Okay.
Grandson to Milt Wagner.
Milt Wagner. Why does that name ring a bell?
That doesn't ring a bell with you? Come on, you from up your way, up in New Jersey. Yes, sir. Milt, 6'5", 2 guard.
Milt Wagner.
Played at Louisville.
I was gonna say, did he play with
3 Final Fours? Won a national championship. Won a NBA title with the Lakers. 6'5", 2 guard.
That's where I know that name.
Juwan is the leading scorer in New Jersey State history. In 9th grade, he scored 45 points. As a senior, he scored 100. He was picked in the number six in the draft as a Memphis State Tiger. He got real sick and ended his career. His son, Juwan Wagner, is the #1 ESPN prospect in the class of 23. He will play in the McDonald's All-American game. He'll be the first family with 3 generations in the McDonald's All-Star game and in the NBA. If you're in that New Jersey area, you need to go see him. It was between Kentucky and Louisville, and I saw he just committed to go to Kentucky.
Oh,
he's a young man you might want to know about, hear about, kind of keep up with him just a little bit. Just a little bit. You know,
nice
these young people, they're getting exposed to so much. And, you know, one of the other things, you know, that's social media. One of the other things I found on social media that really kind of made me stop and look at it a little bit. Corey Fuller's son, ranked #1 in the class of 27. #1. He's like in middle school. He's playing on he was on the JV baseball team at McClay.
Class of 27.
Class of 27. That's how young they start following these kids. Young, he's the #1 player, Tallahassee, Florida. How often do you see that happen? You always got to pull for the home team. One thing I used to love about Sue Samaral at Florida State, when I was coaching AAU, she came to see our team play every tournament we win that FSU attended. She was there. And I said, Sue, you not recruiting any of our kids? She said, yeah, but one day I might. And she said, you always have to pull for the home team. And that always stayed in my mind in terms of the professionalism and the first class operation that she ran at Florida State. You know, a lot of those student athletes from FSU done well. Coach Ward, Deion Sanders, a lot of those guys have done exceptionally well in their contributions to their community. They've done an exceptional job.
Indeed.
Exceptional job. Congratulations to the FAMU Rattlers. They claimed their 2nd SWAC volleyball tournament championship in the last 2 years. Congratulations to them and for the success that they've had. We appreciate that.
Hey, Coach, does that mean FAMU is a volleyball school now?
They've always had exceptional volleyball.
Always. They always have.
They always had an exceptional volleyball program. Always. But, you know, we always talk about the bands and how the bands do. I want you to take a look at Delaware State. Congratulations to Dell State and fire up the bus and go home. Fire up the bus and go home. Fire up the bus and go home. I said, I love it. I love the energy that the bands bring. And it's probably need to get Coach Ward on because I'm sure he'd have an opinion with us too. Just the difference that it makes to go to events live. It's nothing like it. It's nothing like it. In fact, let me bring Mr. Heisman House on with us right now. There.
Is he in the Heisman house? At the Heisman house?
What's going on?
Hey, coach.
He's so suave.
I know, right? It's so smooth.
I've done many. I won't say many, but Coach is really accessible, and he makes appearances and talks to us. I try not to disturb him if we're doing stuff before the game, and before his contest when we're doing them and stuff. He'll say, "Coach, it's all right." I mean, I'm like, I just want to see him get pissed off one day and kick the chair or something, but he just be so low. He's so low key. Even when they're not playing well, he'll Is that the way you were in the huddle too, Coach?
Well, I have that's my personality for a lot of times, but then I get fired up about certain things. So there's a mix, just not overkill.
He's so suave. He's so suave. I
That's
don't
all
care
right.
what question you throw at him. He just kind of handles it like a shortstop. He just kind of makes
Mhm.
time.
Routine play.
It's a routine play, right?
Routine.
Coach, before I get to one of the real reasons I want to talk to you about your upcoming season and all, but tell us what it means from a player viewpoint and from a coaching viewpoint to have a lot of people in the facility cheering for and for your team.
Well, it definitely brings a different energy that normally if you don't have it, uh, you still need energy, but it brings a different energy. Um, and it's crucial when you're when you're playing against a solid team or a team that's either highly ranked or just a great competitive game to be able to have that extra juice that you need when you may be a little tired or you get a run and you can get the crowd in it and can rattle the opponent if they haven't been in that type of environment before. So that's always it's always a positive to have quite a few people in the gym that's rooting for you, and it's a good test for your team as well when you're not when you're on the road. We were in that type of environment and last year as we were trying to make the Final Four. We had to go to Providence, and they had a smaller gym. Court was small, and they had their students, and everybody was for them. And our guys, there was time where it was really, really loud, but we had to fight through that and make plays. That's normally what it comes down to. When the team gets on a run, you got to slow it down, make plays. But it's always great to have people in the gym that's pulling for you.
Coach, is it different when you're playing football? Like if you would go to UF and be playing the Gators in Gainesville, it had to be boisterous, loud. Just you block all that off, or you feed off of it.
I mean, I've been in places where it's really, really loud, and we just had to, find a way to quiet them. And that's you go out and make a play, or put a drive together, or get a defensive stop, or whatever it may be, to try to quieten that crowd. And it's good for you because you practice all week, especially in football. You practice all week, silent count, and you get an opportunity to experience that because you can't hear each other, and you're having to go back off of what you practiced, and that's something that you lean on. But when it's all said and done, you want to quiet the crowd. That's the main goal. Is you want to quiet them, so that means you want to go out and put together your best performance. And I know down in the swamp back in '93, we were able to do that and come out with the win. I know that game is coming up this week, but it's always a great feeling when you can quiet the opposing crowd.
Conversely, Coach, what does it do for your home when they start that?
it has the same effect as when, whenever you're at home and, it's something that gets you going in a sense. You're already prepared to play, whatever that may be. But when that happens, some good things are happening, or they're trying to get you to a point where you need to pick up your energy. And so that's always a good sign when you hear the chant, the war chant, and it definitely gives you that extra boost that you need.
Well, again, congratulations to you for the state championship that you won last year.
Thank
And
you.
Coach, you told me you were going to be pretty good. And remember, we were doing preseason. They were naming the top teams they thought they were going to be in the city. And Rick, we had him on the show, and he again said, "Well, I really think we're going to be one of those two."
Yeah.
And all those people that picked teams over you, you ended up being not only the best in the city, the best in the state. And you lost kids, and your team got better. You graduated some kids. You had a guy go play pro that had another year to play, and you still dominated. Coach, congrats. That was a heck of an accomplishment for what you did.
I appreciate it. And it does help to have quality players. Uh, you know, in order to have a feat like that, you have to have quality players and support from the administration and parents through the journey. And it was a great ride, last year and this year. We're kind of in the same boat. The guys that came back have improved and they got stronger. A year under Coach OB Fitness, Coach O'Neal Brown, and so it's been pretty good start here this year. But the ultimate goal is always to win a state championship. But we want to make sure that we're preparing ourselves to win each game and learn from each game, whether we win or lose it, so that we can get prepared and ready for what we say we want. And so our guys have been coming to work each and every day, putting the time in, and they to come out and compete. Every game.
Well, when we took count, we took a little inventory, a little survey of the top 5 players in the area. The perennial pick was number 1, was your guard that's going to Missouri, Anthony Robinson. He was picked as some said maybe one of the best players to ever leave the city of Tallahassee, which is a heck of a statement for this particular coach who's been here forever to make that comment. And a new name on the list, which won't be a surprise to you because we've talked about it, but a name that people keep mentioning now is Trey Card. That they consider him as, if he's not in the top 5, he's in the top 6. And he got hurt last year and came back and ended up playing towards the end of the season for you.
Yes, I mean those two guys are great talents. Anthony is a special talent. He's been playing since eighth grade, and of course, he's grown over the years. But he was able to get some great experience throughout those years playing up. He learned how to play the game, and he's still learning how to play the game. But he's able to use his ability to help his teammates be better. He has the ability to take over a game at any time, but of course, it helps when you have guys around you that can also make plays. And we've been blessed to have quality players. And the two guys that you name are very talented, but we have quite a few guys that's going to potentially go under the radar, but they're guys that you need on your team. TJ Baker's one.
Mm-hmm.
He's definitely developed and grown over the past year and taken on a different role this year, which we're going to need him to do. Thaddeus Burns. Everyone has known him as a shooter, but he's improved his ball handling, making plays off the pick and roll, and he can still shoot it. But of course, defensively, he's one of our solid players. Dakota Morris is another junior, big body guy who he can shoot it. He's been rebounding it really, really well here lately on the preseason in the first game, which is something we've been challenging him to do. And so, I mean, that's we added Marquez Allen, who transferred in. He's a junior as well, and so it's been, of course, Christian Johnson is not playing with us now because he's playing football. And of course, as you know, football is still playing. They have a game on Friday to go to the Final Four. So he's been missing, and Ashton Hampton as well is playing football. Those guys, be intricate parts for us, along with some of the other football guys that play a certain role. And so we got a quality team. Our goal is to compete every day and execute at a high level and live with the results. And so that's what we've been doing. And we just want to at least give ourselves a chance to win.
Rick, his modesty is just so. But I will say this: he said last year that they were going. He thought they were going to be pretty good. I wasn't really sold on that. I was like, okay, coach, okay. So when he says that, that carries a lot of weight. It's like like those coaches who never admit to having anything, but when they do say they have something, it's like,
you better listen.
Yeah, they might be pretty good. He never gives them any credit. But
Mhm.
they're doing, what, and Coach and I have talked about it. When I saw them last year defensively, they had to be 50% better. And I remember, I'm trying to think of who I saw you played it after the game. I said, Coach, that might have been the best defensive effort I've seen your team exhibit. And, he said, well, Coach, I just hope it continues.
Yeah, I
And
think it
they
was a
get
playoff
after
game.
you, boy. You don't get anything easy on them. Coach, they get after it pretty hard, Coach, and that's coming from your practice sessions.
Yeah, it helps when you have quality practice sessions, meaning competitive guys going after each other. And I know last year it was very competitive. Um, in a lot of ways, we make it competitive the way we schedule practice to foster some of that because it tells us who wants to win, who hates losing. And those guys, they get after it, but they're still teammates at the end of the day. But we just want to put it out there because we got our head handed to us. That's how we learn. Andrew Jackson beat us, kept beating us. Still, we's trying to hopefully win this year, but in the past, they showed us how we should play and we needed to play if we're going to get over the hump. And they played with all out effort, guys in gaps, guys making it look tough, just all over the place. Like they had people all over the place, and our guys were just trying to go get away, but they couldn't. And so we had to model that. And when we started to model that, that's when you start to see the change in the outcome. And last year was one of the things that we wanted to do. And I think you saw a playoff game, and that's what we did. I mean, we were all over the place, and it made it tougher on the guys. I mean, on the referees because they felt like they were all over the place and scrapping. I don't know if there were fouls or not, but they, they just they just made them play faster, and so a lot of times it's hard, for teams if they don't have guards that can handle that kind of pressure to play fast and then make decisions. And so um, that's that's what we predicate ourselves on now. And we of course coach them up. We coach them up as best we can, and then they have to go out and execute it.
Yeah, that's a great answer. Chiquita Miller herself, a ball player from Cairo, played at Florida A&M for me. One of our big followers here said, "Hey, Coach and Rick, happy Thanksgiving." And said, "Coach, good luck on your season." She kind of keeps up with what goes on.
I'll tell her thank you and happy Thanksgiving as well.
Rick, anything you like to ask Coach?
Yeah, Coach, when coming off of a championship, how do you look at this season? I know the ultimate goal is to get back to Lakeland and to win, but do you go in, forget last season, and just focus in with chasing another championship, or how do you go into this season?
Well, the approach has not just been right now. I mean, we started this in the off season, working to put together the best season possible. And the best way to do that is you got to have the best condition guys. And so that's having Coach O'Neal Brown has been a great blessing for our program. He comes and works the guys out 3 times a week, and it's been a huge difference for the guys' confidence. They don't mind running into people now, and they play with great, passion on the floor and energy and force. That plays a big part in the success of how you go about your business. But when you start talking about defending and all those types of things, I mean, that's last year. This is a new team this year. But we got to continue to improve our principles, the things that we did well last year. We got to continue to get better in those areas, whether it's defense or offense. And of course, anything you got to make shots. So we put a high premium on getting a lot of shots up during practice, uh, each and every day. And so whether it's twos or threes, we work to get them as many different shots or game-like shots as possible. And we stress making shots, not just shooting them, but making shots. And so we do quite a few things defensively to help us improve. One of the things we want to do is stay in front of guys this year better, pressure, but also stay in front of guys and help them recover, be able to X out when guys are beat. So all those things go hand in hand in the improvement because um, when it's all said and done, you want to be there at the end, but you got to execute the fundamentals to a T. And this team here it helps to have a seasoned team as well, guys that's been here, and now they're starting to teach other guys, the younger guys, the system and how to go about doing their business and whether it's on offense or defense, just different things that we taught them over the years and we've improved upon. And now they're teaching them. And so that's, always the vision of a coach to be able to have his team or his veteran players teaching the younger players, the system.
All right,
We appreciate you, Coach. He gave us some really good words when we did a Father's Day special and talked about his family and his kids and his dad. You know, so some of coaches. He gets that dry sense of humor. He made some of his cracks about playing for his dad and the abuse he got blamed for as a ninth grade point guard. That was his fault. So his dad told him. Coach, that resonated with me because I played for my dad, and I don't care what you did, it was never good enough. You be
True.
hoping somebody else give you a ride home after the game, and you won't with your dad.
Yes, that was
But we, but we
always
love
my
him.
fault.
Yeah, right. It was all our fault. I don't care what. Coach. Man,
Hey,
Coach.
Coach, before you go, talk about the Heisman House. Talk about being in that commercial because it's awesome seeing you in that national. How did that come about? Oh, well, I know how it came about with you winning the Heisman, but
It would
was
help
it as
if you win
fun?
the but
Was it as fun from the outside looking in?
Um, yes, I mean I've had an opportunity to be in one before, except the first time I was mistaken as a mascot. Uh, so I was happy that I was included in the Heisman as a Heisman winner this time, as opposed to being mistaken as a mascot when I went into the dressing room. Um, but that just to be able to be there with the guys, you get a chance to talk with them and their family. Was is always eye opening for me because you see those guys on TV. Some of them still playing, and some are older guys like myself, but they're to me big time. And so just to get a chance to hang out with them, but I really enjoy getting a chance to talk to the mascots, the person behind, the mask, in a sense, and so it's intriguing to hear their stories and how they go about their business and doing their job as a mascot. Those things were very, very interesting to me, along with all the other scenes and different things that you get an opportunity to be a part of and the people there. I mean, there's like 300 people that were working for the commercials, and so it's always great to be there, and they treat you nice and well. And I got a chance to take my wife and our oldest son. He did a lot of the back behind the scene footage that you may see on social media, our social media page from the Heisman, and so. I enjoy those moments as well because I've like I said I've been on it one other time, and I get a chance to bring someone there with me, and so it was just always great to be able to bring your family with you for them to experience as well.
Indeed.
That's a
Indeed.
that's a great answer because one of my all-time favorite commercials is uh, when they were at the wedding and they had all the Heisman winners in there, and they pulled out the football, and all of a sudden it just went crazy. Jim Brown and all of them were in it. They were messing up the cakes and diving across the tables. I mean, there's some creative people that put those things together, Coach.
Yeah, that it is, and it is very interesting how it all comes to fruition because you kind of wait to see the end result,
Mm.
um, but it's just all the time. Like one of the scenes that I was in, the pool party, that took about an hour and some change to
Mhm.
do, and you sit there and it's like, you know, 30 seconds if that,
You're right.
and so it's just funny to see how it all comes out. And but I was just grateful to be chosen this year to represent Florida State. Hopefully, we can get a couple of Florida State Heisman brothers on there in the near future. Just like the Gators, they got two on there. We got to try to keep up with them.
Hey, you still got that built in you about those guys down in Central Florida, huh?
Yes, and we got to get with them this weekend. Hopefully, we can end this season 9-3 by beating the Gators.
By beating the Gators.
By beating the Gators. All right.
Coach, as always, we appreciate you taking the time. I want to thank you for always being so gracious with your time, with insights. Um, we are really proud of your accomplishments over at Florida High, and and what you've done with the program over there. And all three of my daughters were at Florida High at one time or another, so we've been there since they opened the doors at the new place. So we really proud of what you've done over there, Coach, and the way you've represented the Florida State Seminoles. As we said earlier, it's a lot of guys that in your class and teammates that have gone on and really done some really successful things in terms of giving back to the community. I just think, that's exemplary.
I appreciate it, Coach, and of course, I always thank Insights for covering high school sports. Um, you know, you all kind of open that door for high school sports to be um, viewed by those on the outside. And I know football is doing more now. I mean, I think one of the the stations are doing high school football,
Hmm.
but you guys are the ones that kind of help open that door for high school basketball to be shown. I know you've been doing it for some time, but we appreciate your support.
I appreciate it, Coach. And we did football, but I'm a basketball guy. That's I
Right.
it's just different for me to do basketball. That was my first love. So we get out there and the coaches that we reach out to in basketball respond so much better in terms of doing things to bring attention and exposure to their program. I mean, most of y'all, male and female, are really pretty good at exposing your program and taking opportunities to tell people about what you have. So, we can get more people in there, so we can get more coaches aware of it, so families can see it. It's about exposure. And we just, as we like to say, hashtag it's about the kids.
The kids.
That's who it's about.
100%.
Coach, we appreciate you taking the time. You're welcome to stay with us
Thank you, Coach.
because we would love to have you on, but I know your time is limited, and but we appreciate you. And
Well, I appreciate it, and y'all continue to do what you do.
thank you, and happy Thanksgiving to you and
Happy
your
Thanksgiving, Coach.
I appreciate it. You as well.
Two characteristics all legends have are dedication and determination. On this episode of Remembering the Legends, we look at a player who had to prove himself at every level and often exceeded everyone's expectations. Today, we shine the spotlight on former Bethune-Cookman Wildcat and NFL offensive lineman Larry Little. Larry Chapman Little was born November 2nd, 1945 in Groveland, Georgia, but grew up in Miami's community of Overtown. He was a two-way player while attending Miami Booker T. Washington High School before getting a scholarship to Bethune-Cookman. There, the lineman became a team captain and all-conference player. And while it wasn't good enough to get drafted, Little was signed as an undrafted free agent by the San Diego Chargers in 1967. 2 years later, Little was traded home to the Miami Dolphins. It was there that Little became known as one of the best offensive linemen in all of football. At right guard, Little often shined while he was pulling for one of the league's top rushing attacks. He was a starter on the Dolphins' perfect season squad that also set a record for the league in rushing with a then record 2,960 yards on the ground. And we talk about determination and dedication. Despite being plagued by knee, ankle, and leg injuries most of his career, Little missed just 4 games in his first 11 seasons with Miami. After retiring following the 1980 season, Little had played 183 games in 14 NFL seasons. He became athletic director at Miami Edison High School before returning to Cookman in 1983 as head football coach. There, in 9 seasons, he won 2 Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference championships. Little also became the first black head coach in the World Football League with the Ohio Glory and later coached football at North Carolina Central before retiring in 1998. As a player, Little won 3 NFLPA AFC Offensive Lineman of the Year awards, was named to 5 Pro Bowls, had 6 All-Pro selections, was a member of 3 AFC Championship team squads, and 2 Super Bowl winning teams. He was named to the NFL's 1970 All-Decade team, ranked 79th on the Sporting News' list of 100 greatest NFL players in 1999, was named to the Miami Dolphins Honor Roll, named to the Florida High School Athletic Association All-Century Team, was inducted into the Bethune-Cookman Hall of Fame, and in 1983, inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And he's still making an impact in Miami. In June, the Larry Little Gold Coast Foundation presented 41 $1,000 scholarships to high school students on their way to college. While often overlooked, Little never let his doubters deter him. It provided him motivation to become great. That is why he is a legend.
Good job there, young man.
Well, Coach, I thought after the beatdown that Cookman got, I thought it would just we had to soothe them out a little bit, soothe some wounds that they took after the beatdown in the Florida Classics. So no, but Larry Little deserved it. He heck of a player, heck of a lineman. I know he and the rest of the crew from that undefeated team were popping bottles, their champagne, yearly champagne, once a team loses. The last undefeated team in the NFL that loses, the undefeated Miami Dolphins, still alive, pop champagne to celebrate that they're still the one, and he was a member of that squad. He was a hell of a lineman, definitely.
Yes, he was, and it was really interesting about you and the comment you made about the Bethune-Cookman beatdown.
Uh-huh.
Oh, wait till you hear this.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Mick, Rick, gentlemen,
No.
let me start out by saying I'm very thankful for the both of you and the great things that you're doing in our communities and in our society. You're great gentlemen, great role models, and we should all be thankful to have you in our lives. But equally as important, it is that I don't have to hear "Hail Wildcats" for another year. It's music to my ears. Instead, I get to say "Hail to the Gnaw." But we will get to that later. As a good preacher would say, I will not be before you long because I need to finish frying these turkeys. So with that being said, let's get right to it. As we know, the playoff chances of a Tallahassee or area team winning a state championship are already slim, and they just got slimmer because one knocked another one out last week in a major upset in my book, as Monroe defeated John Paul last week in a thriller, 21-19. This week, though, they will take on North Florida Christian, who completely mauled McClay last week, 42-14. NFC has been a juggernaut all year and defeated the Bobcats on their home turf just 2 weeks ago by 2 touchdowns. I don't think the Bobcats will be able to overcome that playing NFC at home, so I'll take the Eagles. Over in Southwood, Florida High understood the assignment and dispatched the Pensacola Catholic 18-14. This week, they will take on Swanee, and I predict that the boys from Southwood will also prevail and move on to the next round. Now, over in South Georgia, Thomasville prevailed over Liberty County 13-6 and will now take on Carver. And the Fighting Syrup Makers, Dr. Miller, were also victorious and will take on Troup County. There is nothing like the excitement of high school playoff football. On the college front, Florida State took all of the spice out of the Raging Cajuns of Louisiana 49-17 and will exact a measure of revenge this week against their most hated rival, the Florida Gators. This will be a Friday night contest, however, which I don't like because it hurts high school football. But nevertheless, go Seminoles. And what a weekend it was for my FAMU Rattlers as we snatched every tooth out of old Snagglepuss mouth and the VCU Wild Rats. I meant the Wildcats. And there's only one thing to say, and that's when you lose the Florida Classic, there's a heavy price to pay. Is that the RV? Is that the losers on the side of the RV for the entire state to see? Is that me giving Bethune the business? Coach, roll that beautiful bean footage. See you next week.
You gotta love it.
What they say earlier? What they say? Go. In Bartow, they used to say, "Get your hat, your coat, and leave."
Dr. Miller, and she said she loved that Earl Hankerson. Boy,
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
that guy is just a little funny right there, boy.
As you say, Coach, he's special.
Yeah. He peto. He really peto.
He's special. All right, do it. Give it to me, Coach. Go ahead. You gonna give it to me? You go. Yeah.
NFL Week 11 in review. I like this kind
Be
of party.
patient. It's coming.
Week 11 began in Green Bay, where the Packers hosted the Titans, and the Titans flipped the script in this one using their passing game instead of that formidable running game. Tannehill, 22 of 23 for 333 yards and 2 touchdowns. Henry was held to 87 yards, but he did rush for a touchdown and also threw one. Rodgers threw 2 touchdowns, but he looked bad in this one. Tennessee wins 27-17 for their 7th win out of the last 8, and the Packers dropped their 5th out of 6 and fall to 4-7. Sunday, Chicago traveled to Atlanta, and this ended up being a real good one, just like I thought it would. This was a back-and-forth game all game. The Falcons win 27-24 with a Young Ho Koo last-minute field goal. Justin Fields ran and threw for a touchdown in this one to keep his consecutive games touchdown streak intact. Cordell Patterson had a 103-yard kickoff return in this one, his NFL record-breaking 9th kickoff return for a touchdown. Hall of Fame? Maybe. The Bears lose their 6th out of their last 7 games to fall to 3-8. The Falcons win keeps pace with Tampa Bay in the NFC South. Bad news for the Falcons, they do lose Kyle Pitts for the season in this one. At Ford Field in Detroit, the Bills hosted the Browns. The Browns played tough in the first half. They even held the lead at one point, but Buffalo took over in the second half. The Bills bottled up the Browns' running game and unleashed their own running game, running for 171 yards total. Both Amari Cooper, 8 catches, 113 yards, and 2 touchdowns, and Jacoby Brissett, 324 yards and 3 touchdowns, played big in this one, but the Browns lose 31-23. They're 6th out of their last 7 games that they've lost, and they're now 3-7. The Bills bounced back from a disappointing loss to the Vikings last week and improved to 7-3. Over in Indianapolis, the Colts hosted the Eagles, and the Colts led for 58 minutes and 20 seconds until Jalen Hurts' late 7-yard touchdown scamper gave the Eagles their first lead of the day and the victory. The Colts played the Eagles tough, but just not enough offense. The Eagles win behind Jalen Hurts, 190 yards passing and a touchdown, and 86 yards rushing and another touchdown. Philadelphia goes to 9-1. The Colts fall to 4-6-1. In Houston, the Texans hosted the Redskins. Oops, my bad. The Commanders. Washington led 20-0 at half, and they cruised to a 23-10 victory over the Texans. Washington wins their 5th out of last 6 games to go to 6-5, and Heineke is 4-1 as a starter and is now officially named the starter. The Texans were held to 187 yards of total offense.
Poor Lovey.
They only had 5 yards at the half. Hold up, let me check that.
5 yards at the half?
Yes, only 5 yards at the half. Shaking my damn head. Houston loses their 5th straight, and now they're 1-8-1. No love for Lovey. Detroit did it. 3 wins in a row. First time since November 2017. The Lions behind Jamal Williams' 3 touchdowns and a suffocating defense. The Lions' suffocating defense? Is that an oxymoron? Detroit held the Giants to 18 points, and 12 of those points came in the 4th quarter. The Lions win 31-18. The Giants are now 7-3. Break up the Lions. They're now 4-6. Cincinnati traveled to Pittsburgh, where the Steelers led this one 20-17 at the half, but Cincinnati outscored Pittsburgh 20-10 in the second half. The
Mm.
Bengals win a barn burner 37-30. The Bengals' fourth win out of their last 5 games, and they've scored 30 points in all 4 of those wins without
They're starting to
Jamar
roll.
Chase. That's
Starting to
pretty
roll.
impressive. Joe Burrows had 355 yards and 4 touchdowns. Backup running back Samaje Perine had 3 touchdown receptions. The Bengals had scoring drives of 79, 92, and 93 yards.
Wow.
Hey there, if you're
Wow.
not familiar with Steelers defensive end TJ Watt, check him out. That brother can play. Check out his interception in this game.
Yeah.
Dallas traveled
That
to
was-
Minnesota. Not much to talk about here, but we're going to talk about it anyway.
I
Dallas
know
bounced
you
back
are.
from that embarrassing performance they had in Green Bay last week and put the beat down on the Vikes. Behind that Dallas defense, who put that robust Vikings offense on mute and sacked Cousins 7 times, the Cowboys win 40-3. Not done. I'm not done yet. Offensively, the Cowboys were led by Dak Prescott's 22 of 25 and 2 touchdowns, and Tony Pollard's 80 yards rushing with another 108 yards receiving and 2 touchdowns. Cowboys go to 7-3. The Vikings fall to 8-2.
If that team
Sunday
ever
night
gets
in
it
LA,
together,
the Chargers hosted
Right.
the Chiefs, and we got treated to a real good one. There were 7 lead changes, 6 touchdowns, 5 field goals, and the game was not decided until there were just 31 seconds left in the game. The Chargers' Herbert to Palmer touchdown pass with 1 minute and 46 seconds remaining gave the Chargers the 27-23 lead. Mahomes leading the touchdown went and got one, connecting with Kelsey for a 17-yard game-winning touchdown. Chiefs win 30-27. Kelsey 115 yards and 3 touchdowns. Mahomes 329 yards passing and 3 touchdowns. KC 8-2. The Chargers 5-5. Elsewhere around the league, in Denver, the Raiders outlast the Broncos and win in overtime 22-16 with a 35-yard walk-off touchdown to Devontae Adams, his second touchdown bomb of the game. How many times do I have to tell you? DGBD. Don't get beat deep. Jeez. Baltimore uses 2 fourth-quarter turnovers to beat Carolina in an offensively challenged game, 13-3. In New England, in another offensively challenged game, the Patriots score on an 84-yard punt return to win 10-3 over the New York Jets. Down in New Orleans, both offenses came to play in this one, but New Orleans played a little bit better than the Rams, and they win 27-20. Finally, to wrap up Week 11, on Monday night, the 49ers hosted the Cardinals, and they made quick work of Arizona.
in Mexico,
The 49ers crushed a lot, and they crushed the Cardinals 38-10. Jimmy G had 4 touchdown passes, and all the 49ers stars shined in this one. And the defense did their thing too. The Niners 6-4 in first place in the NFC West. The Cards fall to 4-7. This week's player to watch, New England linebacker from Grand Valley State, Matthew Judon. Judon has a league-leading 13 sacks, 23 solo tackles, and 3 passes defended. He's a player that the opponent must game plan for every week. New England Patriots, Matthew Judon, doing it well. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
happy Thanksgiving, you Cowboy fan.
As Dr. Miller says, how about those Chiefs?
Oh, I mean, they gave him too much time.
Yeah.
Well, I do. When I looked at the clock, I said, "Oh, 1 minute, 2 timeouts." Yeah, and as much as I like the Chargers because one of their safeties is from Haines City, 3, number 3. Can't even think of his name now. My bad. But nah, too much time. Too much time.
But what did you think about, changing gears a little bit, what did you think about how the playoff bids went out? Was it done objectively? What was your thought?
My first thought it was bullshit. That's the first thing that came out of my mouth when I saw the field. I wondered how you can finish the season on an 8-game winning streak, do everything that you're supposed to do, and finish 20th in the nation, and not get into a 2014 playoff. It kind of struck me. And I don't know. I was very disappointed. Very disappointed, coach.
And you were surprised.
Yeah. Well, no. Yes, I was surprised, but no, I wasn't surprised. If you get what I'm saying.
I don't get it.
Okay.
Explain it to me.
I'll,
Tell me
well,
like I'm kindergarten.
well, no, I'm gonna tell you. I always think that black colleges get get overlooked, or they don't think as much about the competition level of black colleges. And so if it's here or there, we're going to get the short end of the stick. I hate thinking that way. I would like to think we have progressed to another stage. But when I see stuff like this that seems just blatantly wrong, what else can it be?
What would
What's your
you say?
favorite saying? If it
What would,
walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it ain't no chicken.
right, right, right. But what stage did you think we evolved to? See, this
Okay.
is my thing. Last year when we went and we lost so badly, I told you it was going to be some repercussions from that tremendous loss, because what they were going to say was you didn't deserve to be there anyway.
Mm.
Now people say, whatever. So I didn't, you like anything we do on the show, we state it's just my opinion, and I state it, and I move on. But we didn't get another bid. We complained about how we were treated and all the stuff that went on the field. So they said, well, we're going to make sure y'all don't have that issue this year. You ain't going to go.
Mm.
Then last year, we lost to Jackson State by what, 2 points?
7-6.
Jackson State made sure that wasn't the case this time. You can't play those games. Okay, we lost to them, yes, but we lost it was a convincing win
On
for
national
Jackson
TV.
State. And they count all those numbers, so you can't give them reasons not to invite you. The last time we got an at-large bid was something like 2013 when 2 teams from the MEAC went. But see, back in those days, we had 4 or 5 HBCUs that were ranked in the top 20, 25. So they're saying strength of schedule, and everybody's getting mad. They said, we played Jackson State and we was against North Carolina. Well, they're talking about the rest of the schools in our conference that they don't call strong. So it's a lot of ways for them to justify doing what they did. They don't care what your thought is. They don't care if you upset or not. What you gonna do? That's why games like the Celebration Bowl are so significant for our culture. It gives our teams an opportunity to play at the end of the regular season. And I think that everybody needs to get on board with supporting the Celebration Bowl. Again, that's just my opinion. It gives you that opportunity to continue to play. And where do you play? In Atlanta? That's like the black people capital of the world. Chocolate City. You go to Atlanta, everybody, they go for a week. When we played in Atlanta Classic and had the Florida Classic going on, we had both of them going on at the same time. I always remember I said, Disney, the Florida Classic is kids weekend, family weekend. You take everybody, grandpa take the kids, grandma take the kids, the family. We going to Disney, Universal Studios. You go to Atlanta Classic, you better leave everybody home. Because it's grown people weekend.
It ain't about the kids then.
It's grown people weekend.
Right.
It's grown people. People call you from one event to come to another event. It's a grown people weekend. Yeah. You going to breakfast at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning and you thoroughly entertained all night long. So when everybody go to Atlanta, I had the athletic director say, man, you go to the Atlanta Classic, it's like it got a life of its own. You plan all these events, everybody got something they do, starting with going to K&G Men's Fashion Store. I walked in there the first time and it's men's fashion, all these different sizes, and it's larger than Gaither Gym. I said, oh my God. I said, where has this been the whole time I've been coming to Atlanta? I didn't know about this, boy. I don't miss it now. And then our classic games. What do you guess that you probably already know? Which one's your most well-attended one?
Bayou Classic. Florida Classic.
And not the Bayou Classic.
Not the Bayou Classic? Not Southern. What?
Nope.
I was gonna say the Magic City Classic.
Magic City Classic.
I was giving the top 3.
67,000.
Yeah. Yeah.
67,000. This year we had 55. Florida Classic was second. Third, State Farm Classic. Prairie View A&M, and looks like Grambling. State Fair Classic, Southern and Jackson State. And then after that, the Bayou Classic.
Well, Southern and Grambling still has to play, right?
That's this weekend.
Yeah,
that's
why
this
they
weekend. Don't get an automatic bid.
Yeah, right. And the MEAC had that problem because of the Florida Classic back in the day as well. Is it time we've already said that black colleges should come together and have their own. Is it time for these classics maybe to have their own bowl games, Coach?
I don't know about that. That's an interesting concept. That's an interesting idea. My thing with the different classics is there's only one classic game that's owned by the institutions. The Florida Classic. Bethune-Cookman and Florida A&M own that. We had 2 women presidents who created a consortium, which is a conglomerate of A&M and Bethune-Cookman administrators. They own the Classic. So the money gets divided up between the 2 institutions. They pay the bills out of it, and it's the only one, the Florida Classic.
Wow.
2 women. 2 women put it together. Their woman president and FAMU's woman president got together and made a lasting impression and fingerprint that helped both schools tremendously. Because see, the money that Florida A&M University makes from the Florida Classic goes back to help the athletic department, wherein in the past, the revenue from Bethune-Cookman goes back in the general revenue budget. If it does poorly, it hurts the university, period, because it's a major fundraiser for the institution itself. That's why typically in the past, both presidents were very, very close because they were very instrumental in supporting each other in ways that most people didn't know.
Now you're hitting me with some history here. I like that. Wow.
We have a story up there from Lynn Thompson with a gentleman over in Quincy who since passed. It was related to Mary McLeod Bethune, and I went over and did an interview with him, and my God, did he put some history on me about the relationship between Bethune-Cookman and Florida A&M. I mean, he was their historian. He gave me some information and explained some information to me. That's for another show. We need to do something. We'll have it out by the time we do Black History Week for sure. But our black colleges, the Celebration Bowl is what you have. And it's for us, by us. Because you can't count, once we decide to get together and work together, positive things will happen. But I have to show you this, because as time is running out on us, I have to show you this.
Boom. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Ashley Watkins.
Check the steal. Give me that. Yeah. And if you check out the bench stars kind of rises like, is she gonna do it? Is she gonna do it? She's already told them, I'm gonna get one.
I'm gonna get one.
She already told her, I'm gonna get one. And they was like, I think she probably will. That's how I felt last week messing with Todd.
Oh, and no those are some of the best things I found on social media this week. Hey, I thank y'all for sending that stuff to me. I appreciate it because some of that stuff is pretty good. When I saw that one, that was just hilarious to me.
Oh my gosh.
That's how you
Everybody.
felt laughing at Todd, huh?
Oh my God. Just bring back the good memories.
Bring back good memories. And I appreciate Coach Charlie Ward with us today.
Thank you, Coach
You know,
Ward.
he gave us some things. You know, we got Thanksgiving tomorrow and all. And, you know, then we get started. We got a game with McClay, home game with McClay that will be televised and live streaming Saturday afternoon. But we appreciate all of you being with us as we head towards a new year. You know, it's this holiday season, and it doesn't come long after that because what happens is we'll be in 2023 before you know it. Before you know it. So we appreciate everybody. You know, everybody travels safely. If you're on the road watching this show and you have it turned on, we appreciate you being with us. Enjoy your family. It is nothing like family. Nothing.
Happy Thanksgiving, folks.
Your attention, please.
Stay up to date with the latest from INSiiGHTS. Visit our website at INSiiGHTS.com. 2 eyes in the middle. INSiiGHTS.com.
INSiiGHTS is a copyright of Mac4 Enterprises, a Florida corporation. This broadcast is produced under the exclusive ownership of Mac4 Enterprises. It is the intellectual property and trademark of Mac4 Enterprises. Comments of the host and other individual speakers on INSiiGHTS represent their independent thoughts and representations.
Your attention, please.
Save me a plate. Save me a plate.
You get
Give
as
me a
much
break.
as you want. Special thanks to Jalen Martin and his mom. You know, they both responded to what the update we did on him, and everybody was talking about it. You know that. What the guys say on that? Say he's a grown ass man. Yes, he is. So hey, that's what we do at INSiiGHTS. We try to keep y'all updated with information that isn't always mainstream. Happy Thanksgiving, y'all.
Happy Thanksgiving.
We appreciate you, Rick.